Hello ladies and gentlemen and TV show lovers of all kind, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I am your host Brett Murphy, and for today's video I have a brand new ranking for you all, and I am going to be ranking all 7 of the Disney Plus MCU shows. So Ms. Marvel just wrapped up last week, and since I didn't have the chance to talk about it, I figured I may as well get my ranking out there now before it's a little too late. And though yes, there is still plenty of MCU shows on the way to Disney Plus in the near future, I think She-Hulk is like a month away or whatever, I realized that it had been a hot minute since I last talked about these shows. I think the last time I did a ranking was when there was only 3 of them. So why not do a little hybrid celebration upload by marking the end of Ms. Marvel and the near beginning of She-Hulk? Or whatever's next at this point, there's so much going on. Before I hop into the actual ranking itself, I just wanted to let you all know that I have an entire playlist dedicated to all of my ranking videos, so be sure to check that out and I guarantee you'll find something you like. And so without further ado, let's hop right into things. Number 7, What If? I was actually really excited at just the idea of this one heading in, and it ended up being a very mixed bag. There were some incredibly creative ideas that just fell flat on their face, and some bold choices that really did live up to the hype. I love the unique animation style and vibrant colors. The vast majority of the voice acting was excellent. And while I personally would have preferred just more individual solo stories that were like, a straight up anthology series, rather than it being as interconnected as it was, I still really enjoyed what we got. And I really think that the creators can take all of the constructive criticism that season 1 got and give us a bigger and better season 2. Number 6, Hawkeye. There were elements of this show that I absolutely loved, but other elements that I didn't really care for at all. One of the aspects of this show that stood out to me the most was Clint's story. The way that it really humanized him. It showed his age a bit more. He has the hearing aids now. We got to see more of the family side of things. And I also liked how there is a pretty big focus on Natasha Romanoff's death and just how much that is tearing him up inside because he believes that it should have been him. Haley Steinfeld was a dream fan casting come true as Kate Bishop, and her and Clint's dynamic is likely the best part of this entire show. On top of that, it brought back Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova and introduced us to Alaqua Cox's Maya Lopez, aka Echo, who is now getting her own spin-off as well. Oh, let's not forget it reintroduced us to the great Vincent D'Onofrio once again as Wilson Fisk, aka the Kingpin. Aside from that though, I felt that the Tracksuit Mafia was just one big joke. The majority of the action was a little underwhelming, although I did love the Christmas setting, and also the LARPers just annoyed me. Number 5, Ms. Marvel. I was pleasantly surprised by this show. I had virtually no interest at all heading in, but ended up totally loving these first 2 episodes. Aman Vellani is yet another instance of perfect casting in the MCU. Her passion shines through with each and every line that she delivers. This show in general just had a much more lighthearted and fun-loving style and tone that I totally dug. And in all honesty, the best part of this show was the normal life stuff. The at-home stuff, the family stuff, the school and trying to fit in stuff, the cultural learning stuff, the coming-of-age stuff, all of that is where this show really is at its best. The superhero stuff, on the other hand, was just okay. I totally understand the changing of her powers, and I know it's a hot take, but I actually didn't mind the changing of her powers at all. But sadly, the villains really did suck. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it, they sucked. And the storytelling got steadily weaker as the episodes went on, with episode 5 being the show's lowest point. However, the finale was a total blast and actually somehow got me hyped for The Marvels, which is something I really never thought I was going to say. Number 4, The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I wanted to love this show, but I ended up only really liking it. it. Sam and Bucky are the MCU's new dynamic duo, and their banter just felt so authentic and genuine. I loved it. It starts off fairly slow, but ends with an absolute bang. Sam is the new Captain America, and he looks damn good in that suit. Bucky's redemption arc comes full circle in an admittedly satisfying way in my own opinion, and that end credit scene leaves us with a hint of a new team that is being formed. Speaking of this new team, Wyatt Russell was so damn good here, and he's just not talked about enough for his performance in this, and I really hope to see more of him down the road. The villains, the Flag Smashers or whatever, yeah, they were pretty underwhelming. Their motives were really wishy-washy, and a lot of this show's action felt hollow and inauthentic. Number 3. Moon Knight. At first, I was very unsure about Moon Knight. Not my hype, because the last couple of times that I did my most anticipated MCU projects video, Moon Knight was up towards the top, like top 3 to 5, so the hype and anticipation was definitely there, but I found the first 3 episodes to be okay. Thankfully though, the last 3 episodes were fan-freaking-tastic, with episode 5 in particular being my favorite episode out of any of the MCU shows to this point. Honestly, it's probably one of my favorite things that the MCU has ever done. Oscar Isaac is unsurprisingly phenomenal as both Mark Spector and Stephen Grant. The Moon Knight and Mr. Knight suits are exceptional. They look so comic accurate, and it translated unbelievably well to the screen. May Kalamaui as Layla, and I hope I'm pronouncing her name right, is a total scene stealer, and when she finally got her powers, I screeched. She looked so good and kicked all kinds of ass. This may also be a hot take for whatever reason, but Ethan Hawke, in my mind at least, plays a top-tier MCU villain. I just loved his very calm, cool, and reserved, albeit ruthless demeanor and methods. And also an extra special shout out to F. Murray Abraham for giving us the epic voice of Khonshu. Okay, sure, it wasn't as good as I was hoping for, but I was left ultimately satisfied and clamoring for a season 2 after that ending. Number 2. WandaVision. A weird, wacky, quirky, but undeniably unique and wild ride. Elizabeth Olsen gives it her all with a beautifully powerful performance, and Paul Bettany was not very far behind and complimented her pretty well. While they teased us with quite a bit that didn't really pay off, and I didn't care at all for Agatha Harkness as a villain, but there is no denying, at least in my mind, that this is by far the most creative and risky outing for the MCU yet. Number 1. Loki. I really didn't think that we needed this show, but boy oh boy was I wrong. Tom Hiddleston is wonderful, as always, as Loki, but I would argue that Owen Wilson and Sophia DiMartino are just as good. This show changes just about everything that we thought we knew about this universe. It proposes a bold new perspective, and with where things left off at the end of season 1, it will likely alter everything going forward. It's funny, it's got a ton of heart, and makes some truly daring choices. Also, Jonathan Majors is awesome. Now, bring on season 2. So that is all for today's video, folks. Be sure to let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with my ranking. While you're at it, feel free to let me know how you would have ranked all 7 of the current MCU Disney Plus shows. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. And if you'd like to see more content, consider subscribing to my channel and ringing that little bell icon. That way you can be notified about all of my latest uploads. And as always, stay safe. Thank you so much for watching, and that's a wrap. Hey you, yeah you, if you made it this far, just know I appreciate you, and while you're here, consider hitting that subscribe button.